Hey guys, so welcome back. In this video, we'll be learning how to customize our site and how to change the content according to our wish. And we'll also be learning a much simpler way of doing that. All right. So let's see where we have reached till now. So we got this site called Memorial. All right. It's basically a book site. Okay. So now let's just say, for example, you want to change the best libraries that every book lover must visit to something else. So what you could do is you could just go to the index.html and go to the heading over here and you could change it, right? Okay, so now this is like quite simple. Okay, now let's say, for example, you wanted to change something about this. So you have an about us section, you have a our library section, and you also have our books section. So as you can see, all of them are in different formats, right? So this about us section has a small description over here, one picture over here, and a big description over here, and like our library like just has a huge picture with a small description, and our books has 2 to 3 pictures with like the same thing, right? So they all are in different formats. So let's say, for example, you wanted the format of about us, so you wanted this entire format to come for our library and our books. So how do you do that? And let's also say you wanted to change this, like this is some default content they gave, we have to change all this. So what you could do is you could first delete this entire thing, all right, in the HTML code. So what you could do is you could go to our library, as you can see from here, and delete this entire thing, and you could copy paste the code of about and just change the name, right? So you could copy paste this entire code and change the name from about us to our library and so on and so forth, right? But the thing is, now in this we only have 2 to 3 sections. Let's say instead of this we had something like 20 sections to take care of. So which means that you would have to copy and paste the code 20 times in a HTML file. So first of all, like, that is not all efficient, like it would take up too many lines of code. And yeah, like in the future, like even if you wanted to make any changes, like it would be super hard. So how do you make this dynamic? Okay, so first thing is I will delete the library section and so I will be deleting our library section as well as our book section to make this a bit more simpler to understand. So I'll go to our HTML code. This is our library section. I'm going to delete this, and we have a book section. I will be deleting this as well. All right, be careful about the code you delete. Okay, let me save this and let me reload. As you can see, now we only have the about us section, right? Okay. So now how do we change the the content of this? Now we could change this in like a static way by like manually going to, manually finding each thing and changing them, or we could do it the dynamic way. So how to make it dynamic? So first thing is you need models.py. So just go to Memorial over here and search for models.py. We have to make a class in models.py. All right, so I'll say why. So we'll make a class called books. So what all do we want in this? We want a heading, we want a small description, and we want a big description, right? All this. So we can like justify all of them over here. So we need a head, which will be a string. So you have values to choose from, strings, booleans, or integers. So our head will be a string, our small description will also be a string, and our big description will also be a string. All right, so now we told our class books that we need to put all this in. Basically all these things need to be customizable. So how do we put this into the HTML code? First thing is, what if use.py of your memorial site. All right, so okay, you have to import the class books from models to views. Okay, so we can just put from dot models import books. We need to import books because it is not there in this file. So once you import books, I can keep a variable known as book, or I can just say books is equal to books. All right, so now we have this first thing, right, like called about us. So let's first try to customize this, and then we'll go on to the our library section and so on. So I could put something like books one dot head. I want the head to be about us. Then we have, oh, it's actually on books one, it's actually just books. All right, we'll use one later. So we have books dot small description, which I want to be as, hey, so here is some info about us. All right, and then for the books dot big description, I could put something like, hey, so we are making a YouTube video and hope you are loving it. All right, so let's save this. But will this work? Let me just, okay, now let's wait for this to get reloaded. Okay, it's done reloading, but I got an error saying from dot models import books. Cannot import books from memorial dot models. Why is that? Why are they giving me the error? Because I didn't save my file. Gosh, okay, let me save the file and see if it works now. All right, because I turned off the autosave feature. Okay, the server started. Let's rerun this and see. We got an error. We have books. Okay, I think this error came because we put the same variable as our class name. So we'll just change this to book. All right, so books to book. Let's save this. So let's learn along the way. We can't give the same variable. All right, so at least we know that now. Let's go back and let's refresh. Okay, it worked. Okay, like nothing changed. Why is that? We like still get the default content. It's because we didn't do anything to our HTML page, right? Because in our HTML page, even now it is like showing the exact same thing. So how do we change this? Oh my god, why did this open? Okay, so the first thing is you have to bring all this info to our HTML page. How do you do that? You make a dictionary, and then using the Jinja pattern, you can bring this to the HTML page. We have already talked about this in our previous sessions. All right, I have to make a dictionary. Now my dictionary, let's call it, let's say something like B colon book. All right, so in the HTML file, whenever I reference B, I will be referencing to book. All right, like this book over here. Okay, so let's go to index.html. So this is our heading, right, about us. So let me cut all the text off from this. So Jinja code, how do you do that? Just double curly braces. All right, so inside this I can put, what is the dictionary value I gave there again? I gave it as B. So I want the heading to come here, so I can put here B dot head. So when I put B dot head, it basically refers to book dot head. All right, similarly for the small description, I can go here, cut all this and put B dot small description. And similarly for the big description as well, just cut all this, B dot big description. All right, so now this should work, right? Let's run the code, let's save it and let's refresh. As you can see, it worked. We have about us. Hey, so here is info about us, and then we also have hey, so we are making a YouTube video and hope you are loving it. All right, so now let's talk about how to get the same format for the our library page and the our books page. So we'll go back. So one thing you could do is like you could just copy the whole thing, paste it like 4 more times, make the changes. But we will be using a for loop, right? Because that is much more convenient. So first let's like specify what we want our second and third one to be. So I'll just be putting book 1 because we'll be having 2 more fields, right? We'll be having book 2 for our library thing, and then we'll be having book 3 for our books thing. So let's take this and let me copy paste this. So in this we'll have books 2 dot head, books 2 dot head, books 2 dot head, and here should be books 3 dot head. All right, okay, and there you go. So let me change this to our library. Hey, so here is some info about our library, and here we have our books, info about our books, and let's change the description as well. Hey, so here are our books. I mean, here is our library, and here are our books. All right, so now how do we make a for loop? First of all, we have to make a list, right? Because we need the for loop to iterate through something. So I'll make a list saying comb books, which like basically means combination of books. This will be holding book 1 comma book 2 comma book 3. All right, so in this I'll just put b is equal to comb books because I want my for loop to be for I in B. All right, because B will be referencing to the list. Okay, let's save this. Let's go back to index. Let's put a for loop. How do you put a for loop in HTML? Just put Jinja code. So I can just say for book in B. All right, so B is the list. And then how do you end a for loop? Believe it or not, we have to end the for loop. So I can put something like end for, and let's just make this a bit more easier to understand. Okay, now for book in B, so it's supposed to be book dot head, right? Because our each element is gonna be B. So first it will be book 1 dot head, book 1 dot small description, so and so. Then it will be book 2 dot head, and so, right? Like you get the idea. Let's save it and run it. Let's see. It gives us a name error saying that book is not defined. Let's go back to views and see what happened here. Oh, it's supposed to be book 3, right? We missed that one. Let's save it again. Reloading. Okay, started. Let's refresh the page again. And it works. Let's see if we get the desired sections. We get about us, we get our library. Here's our library, and then we also get our books. So as you can see, this is how you can like get the same things in a very simple way without like just copy pasting code. So hope you guys understood. So this is how you make content dynamic in Django. All right, so that's it for this video. If you have any doubts, leave them in the comment section below, and as usual, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.